or anything from anybody? No? All right, floor is yours.
All right, appreciate it, Coach.
All right, fellas, we doing all right today?
Yes, sir.
So moving on to the next game plan, the next lesson. Today's about responsibility. So I hope all y'all have y'all's Bama Creed. It's the fourth word or fourth game plan or lesson on the Bama Creed under responsibility. And it reminds me of, honestly, the word brings a story to mind and something that I struggled with and something that I will struggle with for the rest of my life. But there's a great quote from our Creator that says, to whom much is given, much is required. And it's something that I still don't grasp completely, and I will, have difficulty grasping the rest of my life. And basically what it means to me is you're not going to earn any more than you've actually earned yourself. Okay, so it's all relevant to what you've earned. And what I mean by that is, when I was a kid, I shared a room with two brothers. Eventually, I had my own room. Eventually, now I have a condo. Eventually, I was able to afford a car. And I've always said, man, I want this, I want this, I want that. But it's all about what I earn on what I get. I can't have that nice car. I can't have that nice house unless I put my feet on the ground and go earn it, go take it. Okay? But beyond that, too much is given, much is required. And the only way to get more is to actually earn more. And that's the whole point I want to bring to you today is I think a lot of us have the wrong approach and the wrong mindset when we attack certain things saying, almost like an entitled sense that we deserve a win or that we deserve a certain amount of respect and sort of, instead of going to get that win, instead of going to get that respect. So I think we've all got the responsibility to take advantage of your blessings. And I think one, common blessing in this room besides myself is that y'all been blessed with an ability to play tennis. Y'all all great athletes, and God's gifted you with that ability. What are you doing with it? I think some of you who are at least spiritual have heard of the story of the talents where, the master gave 4 different people talents, and the guy who buried his talent in fear that, his master would be upset with him, wasn't given any more. I think that's, almost a great analogy for us as athletes. What are you doing with your talent? Are you waking up every day and looking for a reason not to work on your talent? Or are you going to work every day, making sure you multiply it? Because you're given a certain amount, but are you willing to multiply it on a daily basis? And look, like I said from the jump, this isn't going to be easy, okay? What you signed up for, this responsibility that's been given to you, it's not going to be easy. You have to demand it of yourself. You have to demand it of one another, okay? Like I said, you're living the life that isn't average. The average person wakes up and puts his feet on the TV and watches 6 hours of television. All right? That's not what you're setting out to accomplish. Some days you feel like that's maybe what you want to accomplish for whatever reason because you've been grinding 6 hours a day on the courts or 6 hours a day at school. But remember what you set out to do. Remember what you came here to do. And like I said, you have a responsibility. You have a purpose for being given that blessing. There's a reason why you have the desires you have in your heart. There's a reason I have the desires I have in my heart. I've been blessed with an ability to speak for a reason. So I can't just sit on my ass at home and not fire anybody up. God gave me that desire, gave me that talent to use it. Not to just let it dwindle, let it become nothing. Does that make sense? So I need to get up off my tail, no different than y'all have to get off y'all's tail and use your talent. Use your ability. Not only to make yourself better, to multiply your talent, but to multiply the men in this room. Because the truth is, last time I checked, every single one of you signed up for this, right? George didn't come in, handcuff you, and tell you, you have to come to Bama, you have to work this hard, you have to go to this amount of class. No, you signed that. Whether you're a walk-on or whether you're a scholarship, you said, Coach, I want to come serve you. I want to come serve your university, your team. So how are you doing that? Are you multiplying your ability? Are you multiplying your talent? Are you holding your end of the deal? You've been given a certain amount of scholarship money. You've been given these nice clothes, nice shoes, the nicest facilities, the nicest resources. What are you doing with it? If you really want that next level of nice things, if you want that really next level of happiness or whatever it is, what you're after, what are you doing? What are you bringing to the table? Are you holding your end of the bargain? Because I think it's easy for us as individuals to get lazy, slack off, and say, you know what? I deserve these clothes. I deserve these resources. Bullshit. Bullshit. You deserve these once you've earned these. You see what I'm saying? There's a reason when, someone who's a little more fortunate than others, like a good friend of mine's dad buys him a Beamer when he's in high school. I'm like, holy crap, I wish my dad would buy me a Beamer. I had to buy my own Benz, and I worked my ass off for it. But my friend was lucky enough, fortunate enough for his dad to buy him a Beamer. Well, guess what? When his grades weren't that 3.0, 3.5, whatever they had, discussed, he took that Beamer away. Why is that? Because he gave it to him under a certain guideline. If you make this happen, I make this happen. It's no different for you. And your coach, the creator, whoever is watching you and saying, is he holding his end of the bargain? Is he doing his responsibility? Is he doing his duty? And we're going to see. It's not going to be a secret. This weekend, we're going to find out if you've been holding your end of the bargain. This weekend, we're going to find out if this has been all talk. Last time we talked about sharing our strengths with one another, because I said this room has everything we need in order to be a championship team. If you decide to be the stud and share that with everybody else, if you decide to be more of an asshole and hold people to a certain standard, all right, we're going to find out this weekend if we've been doing that, if we've been holding ourselves accountable and holding our share of the bargain and our responsibility. It's going to be for everyone to see, and that's what's great about game matches. That's what's great about tournaments. That's what's great about the spring, because all this work you do in the fall, and as soon as you forget, as soon the season will come and remind you what you've been working on, what you've been bringing to the table, day in, day out. If you've been bringing it, you're going to get the W's. You're going to get the happiness. You're going to get the peace of mind. If you're not, you're going to get the L's. You're going to get the frustration. You're going to get the finger pointing. Does that make sense? So I'm here to remind you of what you want, what you said, and what your responsibility was when you stepped on the floor here, when you decided to commit here, and when you decide to come to work every day. Are you holding your end of the bargain? Like I said, you have a responsibility to the Creator, okay? You have a responsibility to yourself, to the university, to your coaches, to yourself and one another. And you got to evaluate that. You've got to think to yourself, am I doing my job? As a motivator, am I doing my job? Am I setting your hair on fire? Am I reminding you what your why is? But only you can bring your why to the table. Only you can bring your strength to the table and share it with one another. I can't do that. I can remind you, I can motivate you, I can encourage you, but only you can bring it. Only you can bring it to the match this weekend. I can't bring it for you. Hey, Stu, I packed your captain hat, man. It's going to give you superpowers. Hey, Bet, I got your studliness here in the bag, all right? I'm going to bring it out, and we're going to put it on. It's a cape. You're going to be able to fly around and make great things happen. No, you got to bring that. And here, all right? Each one of you. Same thing for you. Look, I can't bring the little hyena in the cage, animal. You got to bring the hyena. You got to bring the dog. And when we talked about strengths, I feel like we can't even move forward because we're still stuck on the last talk. I feel like we're still stuck on the last talk because we had talked about sharing our strengths. Sharing your strength isn't for yourself. It's about the men around you. The only shot we have at being champions is by sharing our strengths with one another. So when I ask you to be an animal, I'm asking you to be an animal for the betterment of this team, the betterment of this universe. Does that make sense? It's not just you being an animal for yourself. It's you demanding that of yourself and then everybody else in this room. That's the only way we're going to get better from you being an animal. Same thing for you as a stud. Same thing for you as a captain. You know what I'm saying? Same for you as being servant and men to others. Does that make sense? That's what you got to think about. And only you can self-evaluate that. I can't do that for you, man. My job here is to come in here, set the room on fire, re-remind you, reprioritize your goals, get you refocused, locked in, and then you've got to do it day in, day out. You've been blessed with the ability. Like I said, God gave you this ability. What are you going to do with it now? Have we been taking advantage of it? Because to me, I think we've been focusing on the wrong things as of late. Look, I get it. It's not easy. I get it. People get sick. I get it. People get injuries. But are we focused on that or are we focused on this? Because I'm going to tell you, whatever you're focused on, it's going to grow. You ever heard of momentum? When you're focused on negative things, the momentum of that negative thing is going to grow into a larger thing. That is real. What you think is what you are. Okay? What you think is what you are. Write that down. It's no difference from a positive thing. If you're thinking of your strength on a daily basis and how you're going to use it to bless these men in these room, if you're thinking about your strength and how you're going to use it to multiply your talent and make yourself twice the man you were yesterday, it's going to grow. It's going to gain momentum. Does that make sense? We talk about bringing a certain level of energy and passion to the practice court because that's the only amount of energy that we're going to be able to bring on match day. What are we bringing? Because that's what we're going to bring with us to the match, whether you like it or not. And I'm okay with reminding you. That's my job. Coach, the coaches in this room are going to remind you something 1,000 times, and you say, why the hell is he telling me this again? Like, I don't know, I'm not giving energy right now. Well, that's the whole point. It's our job to encourage you, or even give you that whooping, that verbal whooping every once in a while, to remind you, hey, this is what you signed up for. This is your responsibility. Are you being about it, or are we just talking about it? Because honestly, men, these talks aren't just to talk about being champions. This is a workshop to become a champion. Hold your end of the bargain. I'm not coming in here just for fun. I'm coming in here for results. I gave you a rubber band today, and I like what Danny said. You're going to have this rubber band until you have a ring. All right? That's what this is for. This is to remind you of the ring that we will have one day. That's why I'm standing in front of you, because I collect rings, not stamps, not baseball cards. I collect rings. I mess with champions. I don't mess with average people. I mess with people who want to go above and beyond, do things that haven't been done before. Talk about Bama winning an SEC championship. Talk about Bama winning a national championship. People will laugh. That doesn't piss you off about you and about you and about each other? That's a joke? And you can't tell me you can't find a reason to push through a little sickness, push through a little hanging nail or injury for one practice, 1 week of practice, 1 month of practice, when the damn tournament's right around the corner? Just because the tournament's 2 weeks away, I can't get focused today? Just because the season's 3 months away, I can't get focused today? It's going to be on you before you even know it. You're going to blink, and you're going to be standing across from somebody from Tennessee, and he's going to want your damn head. Have you earned his head or not? Have you earned an ass whooping or not? That's what you're earning right now. You're becoming the man you're going to be on match day. Whether you know it or not, that's what you're becoming. So my question to you is, what are you becoming? What are you thinking? Because that's who you're becoming. If we're all focused on, man, I don't have a match in 2 weeks, we don't have a season, this doesn't matter, of course you're going to be in a negative mindset. Of course you're going to have a negative approach. Of course you're going to have a shitty practice. Well, no shit. That's all you're thinking about. Like I said, it takes on momentum. It takes on a whole nother light. And that's what y'all need to think about. What's my responsibility? What am I bringing to the table? If you want more, deserve more. I can't get that condo until I take care of this room. Does that make sense? I can't take on more responsibilities until I handle this responsibility. You can't be a captain until you learn how to lead yourself. You can't have a ring until you know how to use a rubber band. Does that make sense? And the reason why I gave you the rubber band in the first place was to pop yourself, to remind yourself. If I start to get negative on myself on the court this weekend, I'm going to pop myself. I'm good. Next point. Next match. I'm good. I'm not going to throw my racket. I'm fine. Stay the course. I'm going to work the cut. I'm going to get them. Okay? I told y'all, I gave y'all a trigger word. Well, this is just another trigger to remind you of your responsibility. We talked about strengths last time I was here. Remind yourself before you get off that bus, when you get to the tournament this weekend, remind yourself of your strength and what you're going to share. I'm the animal. It will be no doubt in anybody's mind, not my teammates, not even any team that's here. That guy's a fucking animal. That's what they're going to say about you. Remind yourself. Does that make sense? Remind yourself, I'm the captain. It's captain time. I'm the stud. It's time. Remind yourself before the match, before anything. You're having a tough time? Snap out of it. All right? Does that make sense? And all this is temporary, man. This is until we get what we really want. All right? We're going to exchange these for rings. You got to know that. You got to believe that. You got to want that. But I just feel like we can't move forward. We can't move forward until we've taken care of everything else. So let's read responsibility out loud. Nico, you got the black shirt on?
I don't have the creed on, but yeah.
Well, damn! That's one problem right there.
Responsibility. We know there's a time and place for fun. We use good judgment. If we don't know what good judgment is, we seek advice from our teammates first, coaches second. We adhere to the 48-hour rule. Question mark. We treat our facility like our home.
I have one question. 48-hour rule.
Oh, yeah. It's just that you won't consume alcohol 48 hours before a competition.
Okay. Okay. So that's another thing. We got to make sure we're adhering to that. I just didn't know what it was, so I wanted to know. I think that's a great rule, and honestly, it could be even more than that. And that's something, I think that's a commitment and a responsibility you make to yourselves and to your team. And what that is you're saying, look, man, everybody's got priorities, and we've talked about them before. What's the priority, man? You want a rubber band for the rest of your life, or do you want a ring? That's all I'm saying. If you're okay with a rubber band, keep drinking. If you're okay with a ring, stop it. All right? There's a time and place for everything. And I think that's what Coach is getting at. Take care of your responsibilities. Take care of your priorities. But the other stuff that's just talked about is just using your good judgment. Using the men in this room to make sure you're making the right choices. And then, obviously, you've been blessed with the greatest resources, or some of the greatest resources. Like I said, if you can't keep this clean, you don't deserve anything more. Does that make sense? But I want us to, instead of moving forward, I was thinking like every time I talk, I get up, I do my thing, and then we finish with everybody sharing their thing. But to me, I feel like we can't move forward yet because the reports I'm getting is that we're kind of like in a stalemate. Like we're not taking that next step. You see, there's levels, right? And you can't go to the next level until you, as an individual, bring everyone around you to that next level. They say the quickest way to be happy is make someone else happy. The quickest way to make someone else motivated is to motivate someone else. To motivate yourself is to motivate someone else. So that's what you have to do. When we talked last week or 2 weeks ago about bringing your strength to the table, I was talking about that so that when you brought your strength to someone else, you would literally bring yourself up. I think as individuals, it's easy to be selfish in this world. It's easy to share your strength with yourself. But what I'm trying to teach you is, if you share it with the men in this room, in actuality, it's going to bring you to another level. But you won't realize it until you actually do it. Does that make sense? So today, I want all of us to share our strengths again. I have them all written down. We're just going to go around. I want us to remind ourselves of our focus. All right? The biggest things, like I've already said, energy, right? It's all real simple stuff. The energy and the responsibility we have to one another. We have everything we need in this room to be successful this weekend. We have everything we need in this room to be successful and be champions. But the only way we're going to accomplish it is that each one of you brings your strength to the table, not just at practice, not just at tournaments, but every day. So I'm going to pass around the ball. I want everybody to remind themselves and everyone in this room what their strength is and what they're bringing to the table. We all on the same page?
Sir.
You start it off.
You want me to get up in front of everyone? Or
Yeah, do it. That's what I'm talking about.
As I said 2 weeks ago, my strength that I'll contribute to this team is belief in ourselves, belief in our teammates, no matter what the circumstances are, whoever's on that other side of the court, and not doubting our abilities and everything else.
One thing I had written down for you is just claim the court, so I just want to remind you of that.
Yeah.
too.
Circumstances. Just correct me there.
Coach me, coach.
Coach me, coach.
Alright, so my strength, again, is just my energy and just kind of making my presence known, and I just want to be sure that I'm bringing my energy whenever we're out there, like all you guys can hear me and feel me out there with you.
How's your energy been? Out of 10 this last week?
7.
7?
Not good.
We're going to bring that 10 this weekend?
Yeah.
I mean, I want it to be wild. Like, I literally want the other teams to look at y'all and be like, what the hell's wrong with these guys? Like, I want them thinking about y'all, not what they need to do. You want to throw them off. We talk about momentum. That's what energy does for yourself, for each other. Have each other's back this weekend. It might not be one of those tournaments where it's you versus another team, but let's go in there with that approach, that mindset. And we're going to have each other's back. We're going to fight each. It's going to be 10 versus 1. It might only be 2-on-2 in the court or 1-on-1 in the court, but it's going to be 10-on-2. It's going to be 10-on-1. Like, where the hell are all these Bama guys coming from? Set the standard for energy. Set the standard for having each other's back. If you got nothing else going on, you're front and center watching your guy compete and having his back and bringing the energy for it. Let him feel you. Make sense? That's got to be the standard for it. And you got to be the ringleader. Next.
Oh, Jesus.
It's alright.
Headbutt.
Yeah, my strength, as I said, is bringing like good character to the team and also like trying to be a stud on and off the court and just showing, being like a good representative for you guys to follow and bringing high quality and
Claim the #1 spot.
yeah, claim the #1 spot.
Hell yeah. Been doing that?
Working on it. In
Hey,
progress.
instead of 3 times a week, 7 times a week.
Yeah.
All right? Because I know you're bringing it, but not enough. So challenge yourself to bring it 6, 7 times a week. Look, no one's perfect, man. I'm not trying to tell you you're perfect. I'm far from perfect. But we need to bring it at least 5, 6, 7 times a week, not 2 or 3 times a week. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So do whatever you got to do to figure it out. That my approach, my mindset, my attitude, I'm #1. I'm making sure everybody knows that. And look, it's like we going down there on your back. Forget the pressure. You love to compete. You love to take people down. Let's go do it. Behind your back. All right?
Alright, I got accountability and being an asshole.
Let's just change it to being more stern. All right?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's exactly what it is. You know, not letting my teammates kind of slack off or, you know, get by with things, like expect the best and demand the best.
All right. Have you been working on that? Have you been doing that a little more?
Yeah, I've been a little absent the past week. So, you know, this week and this weekend, definitely demanding that for sure.
Are we ready to roll this weekend and everything?
Yes, sir.
And then just from your standpoint, I know I'm kind of putting you out in front, but being the captain, that's kind of your role. You know, I just want you to share something quick, short, sweet, simple on our mindset or approach or how your feelings are about this weekend.
I mean, I'm really excited about it. I think we've been working hard and training hard for it. You know, regional is a great opportunity to play, you know, some of the best teams and some of the best players in the country, and I know that we're all going to bring it to them as hard as we can.
Is there anything, you know, I think you've got the most experience in the room, if I'm right. Some of these guys maybe haven't competed in this, so is there anything that they need to know going into it that might help them get their mind right or whatever? Since you've experienced this a few times before, right?
Yeah, every match is a dogfight, and love the battle of it. I really enjoy regionals. I don't know why, I just really enjoy it because it's, you know, it's just an individual tournament. I mean, I love the team aspect, but you're really fighting for yourself and you have all your team backing you up. And, you know,
Well, I think like I had said before, let's make sure we, even though it's an individual tournament, that we have a different kind of presence there. That it is kind of like Bama versus each individual, each duo. Does that make sense? Good?
I feel the level really goes up at regionals, so excited for it.
Next.
Seniority.
Yeah, thanks, Stu. Alright, my strength outlined last time we talked is setting the standard for the intensity, bringing out an animal. I don't want to be focusing on how bad any of us are feeling, just to bring out all the energy, all the intensity we can and maximize everything we have every day. And something I need to do a better job of is, saying what Hocke said last time, is match my intensity. Instead of just showing it and making it individual, making it more of a team aspect of the intensity.
Perfect. Good.
What I said 2 weeks ago was what it needs to be the session and desire to be great. Like you mentioned a little bit earlier, we all have this talent, and it's like a waste if we don't have that mindset to be great.
How have you done with that?
Good, I think so. I've been doing everything I can off the court since my wrist that I can do to better myself when I get back.
What I'm gonna bring is some good haze and good weight and energy, and I'm gonna compete every second that I'm on the court as harder than anybody we're playing against.
Hard ass.
So,
Yeah, Brooklyn badass, man.
The Bash
Bash
Bros.
brother.
Bash Bros.
So maybe I can ask you, Hockey, how does he do it? He's out for 5 more weeks.
Okay.
So
Is
how-
he traveling?
No, I mean, he'll come down and support.
Okay.
But here at practice, he's here. Langford can't play for another week. And then it's like gentle hitting. You know, he's doing everything he can. I'm speaking to Langford and Danny and ultimately Corey. So guys are injured. How can they do, when they do everything they can, they do what's prescribed to them. But how do they see outside, you know, get more of the prescription?
Yeah. I think,
Maybe you share what your guys do when they're hurt
right,
over on your
right.
team.
I think it, you know, it definitely comes down to an individual's injury and what you're able to do, but I think it just goes back to what we've been talking about and what we've been preaching as far as like your desire and want and responsibility for your role. Like everybody's got a role, and it's up to you as an individual to like want the utmost amount of responsibility and accomplishments from yourself. So, you know, a doctor can tell me, hey, it's gonna take 12 weeks, but I'm gonna tell him, no, it's gonna take 10. You see what I'm saying? Like, that takes a certain type of fight in a dog, a certain type of will. Like, they give me a prescription, but I'm gonna make sure that I'm doing everything I can to make sure that I prove them wrong. Just like we're gonna do everything we can to prove everybody wrong that we have no shot at winning an SEC championship, right? Like everyone's saying, bottom of the barrel type team or middle of the pack type team, y'all can't win a championship. That doesn't mean that's a realistic thing. That's just an opinion. Now, doctor has an opinion and has a little more validity to it, but that doesn't mean that it's perfect. Like I said, I had mentioned the guy who had the ACL deal, Eddie Jackson, who came back and is playing 5 months after ACL. Now it's 6 months after ACL, whereas a lot of NFL players take a whole year to come back from that type of injury. So I think it comes down to the individual. Like, honestly, like, I can get up here and scream and be fired up. No different for both of your coaches. But, men, you got to want it for yourself, man. You got to want it so damn bad, man. And that's what separates people who are good and people who are great. It's that fucking desire that, you know what, I don't care what anyone thinks. I don't care what anyone says. This is what's going to happen. And I'm going to make sure of it. That's what this team needs. And a group of individuals that doesn't care, that they're going to push people out their way. They're going to push problems out their way. Whether it's an illness, whether it's a competitor, whether it's a team, get the F out of my way. I'm on a mission and nothing or no one's going to stop me. That's what it's going to take. Not a doctor telling me, you know what, you can't. Or a fan saying, you know what, you're not capable. Or, you know, y'all are Bama. Dude, y'all suck. Screw you. Just because that's what it's been in the past, or because some other D-bag took 3 months to come back from a wrist injury, or an ankle injury, or a hangnail, that ain't me. I do things differently. That's the mindset and attitude it's got to take from each and every one of you. That's what it's going to take to be a champion. That's why only one team gets to win a championship. That's why there's only one SEC champion, man. It isn't for everybody. It's like Ryler said when I was walking in. Why are you listening to ordinary people, man? You trying to be extraordinary? And you're listening to what ordinary people think's okay and think's right? You set the standard. You set the energy. You set the tempo. Just like they're going to be looking at you sideways. The hell are they doing? This is an individual tournament, not a team tournament. The hell it isn't. It's a team tournament. Whenever Danny steps in the court, we all there. Whenever Danny gets in a fight, we all there. You understand what I'm saying? That's what the mindset is. That's what the attitude is. That's what the approach is. That's our only shot. Because the truth is, you aren't as good as some of these other teams. You want to be honest with you? You aren't. So the only way you're going to get better is that you go out there and earn it every day. You earn more. You earn it against the guy you're going to face that is better, that is the top recruit, that went to the top fucking tennis school. That's the only shot you got. And if you want me to be real with you, that's what I got to do. Just like I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be coaching Alabama, winning national championships. I'm just a high school coach. I didn't play college ball. I didn't play NFL ball. Screw you. Get out of my way. I've got something I'm going to accomplish. Well, how about you? How do you feel? You don't deserve to be here? You don't let someone say that? You can't come back for 2 months? You're going to let somebody say that? You're going to be okay with that? That's up to you. And that's why I'm redefining this. And y'all coming up here walking and giving just rehearsed little 2 sentences. Y'all aren't sharing your heart with these men, man. Tell them what you want from yourself, from your team. Does that make sense?